New Jersey police are going door-to-door searching for the gunman who shot and injured two Newark officers in broad daylight.
The latest attack on law enforcement comes as crime remains one of the biggest midterm issues, with 79% of voters saying they are very or extremely concerned. Kellyanne Conway, Fox News contributor and former counselor to President Trump, joins us now. Kellyanne, thank you so much for being on Fox and Friends. First, obviously, crime is number 1 or 2, depending upon the poll that you're looking at. Do Democrats have any chance of winning the Senate, any chance of even coming close in the House with crime the way it is in the United States of America right now?
Thanks for having me. Good morning. No, they don't. The Democrats have failed to come up with any kind of reasonable, actionable, credible response to what is an increasing concern among many Americans, including Latinas, Latinos, and suburban women, on this issue of crime. If you look at yesterday's Wall Street Journal poll alone, you see a major shift among Hispanic Americans and among suburban women from Democrat to Republican. The Journal reported that there's been a 26-point shift among suburban women since August. And yes, of course, it's an economic angst and inflation figure, but it is really being driven by the central concern about crime. Why? Because people feel like they don't have control over their own lives. A poll came out, 79% of Americans said everything's out of control in this country. That is owing a lot to the capriciousness and the randomness and the arbitrariness of violent crime. Last point on the polling, Gallup came up with a very fascinating and sad response recently. 56% of Americans say that crime is up from a year ago in their own areas. So friends, this is not something that's happening to somebody else somewhere else. People feel vulnerable in their own communities. They feel unsafe. And if you feel that you can't keep your home, yourself, your family protected, then you are going to vote out the folks who have no credible response. 3 most poisonous words the Democrats have said in a while: defund the police. They're trying to walk it back. Joe Biden pretends it never happened. Kamala Harris pretends she was never donating money to a bail fund for hardened criminals, murderers. She did. And this will saddle the Democratic Party for a long time, because not only have they not properly resourced our law enforcement, they have not properly respected our law enforcement.
Kellyanne, the Fox News power rankings are shifting 12 more House races in favor of Republicans just 1 week before the midterms. And over in the Senate, 2 races are moving to the right. The big toss-up races, Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, Pennsylvania, still remain just that, toss-ups. 6 days until the election. What do you make of this picture, and what are some of the races that you'll be watching the closest?
Yeah, so the Fox News power rankings, the nonpartisan Cook report, they've all been shifting seats, Carly, that went double digits for Joe Biden 2 short years ago, over to either from likely to lean Democratic or to toss up. And this is a very recent shift, and it's based on the fundamentals going the Republican way. The advantage the Republicans have, double-digit, over 30% on inflation, on crime, even on immigration, an issue that we were told for years was going to hurt the Republican Party, that Donald Trump was going to ruin the Republican Party because of immigration. Turns out many Americans agree with border security and not having fentanyl as the #1 killer of 18 to 44-year-olds. What I'm watching are those 4 critical Senate seats, obviously in particularly in Arizona, Nevada, Pennsylvania, and Georgia. Of course, that would mean Ohio is in the Republican column. That's a defended Republican-held seat this time, but it's an open seat. But I've been bullish about predicting for a while now Republicans taking control of both the House and the Senate. I'm looking at 24 or so seats in the House, a clear path for Kevin McCarthy to be the next Speaker of the House, and I'm looking at the Republicans having 52 or 53 in the Senate. Now, something else has to happen. There needs to be candidate discipline between now and next Tuesday, and a lack of November surprises. We've all heard about October surprises, but here we are, it's November. And if the fundamentals stay the same and the Democrats don't do what they failed to do for the last 2 years, come up with an affirmative, compelling, optimistic message for Americans, Republicans will have a good night.
Well, one thing that the Democrats are trying to do to try to get Republicans to take the bait is on this new attack line that Republicans want to cut Social Security and Medicare. Here's President Biden on that.
You've been paying in Social Security your whole life. You earned it. Now these guys want to take it away. Who in the hell do they think they are? They're under siege by our Republican friends.
Is that Social Security Medicare lie, because it's a lie, getting any traction with the voters, specifically in those states where there are a lot of retirees? I'm looking at Arizona and I'm looking at Nevada.
And he said it in Florida, of course. And look, it's not getting traction. It's not getting traction because it is a lie, and it's not the first or 1,000th time that the Democrats have lied about that. In fact, this drew 4 Pinocchios from the fact checker at the Washington Post. No friend to Republicans ever. No good polling ever came out of there either, by the way. And so this will not work. And also, I feel like the content is a lie, but the tone is so deaf to what voters care about right now. This president really is not listening. This party is not responding to the concerns. They want optimism. They want hopefulness. And even when they deploy the much more popular Barack Obama, where's the hope and change guy? It's all gloom and doom. It's very negative. You know, you've got President Biden saying, we're under siege by the Republicans. This is not what people who are struggling to pay the monthly bills and worried about crime and education, lost learning, et cetera, this is not what they want to hear.
Kitchen table issues. Kellyanne Conway, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We appreciate it.
It's a pleasure. All the best to you and your audience.
You as well.
To you as well.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.